Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of BridgeCom University Live here in Smithville, Missouri. My name is Ron. My call sign is Kilo Charlie Zero Quebec Victor Tango. I have extra class privileges in amateur radio. I got that license last December, and I am enjoying the ham radio world. I want to take a moment and just do some shout outs for you guys. I see Larry Cloud's in the house. Lee, Whiskey 4 Lima Foxtrot Hotel. My 878 doesn't see much action since he got the 578. Well, we're going to fix that today. Dave Simmons, yeah, I've been using mine at Mark Cronenwet, Helena, Montana. The Blind Picker's in the house. Not sure what your call sign is. Hey, Dave Nudi's here. He's my friend in Cleveland now. We're rooting for the Chiefs together of this weekend. Let's see, Mark Friedman, Whiskey Bravo 8, Bravo Charlie Uniform is in the house. Right on. Larry Cloud's call is Kilo Juliet 7 Romeo Golf Yankee. Hey Charles, Central PA, Alpha Bravo 3, Charlie Echo is here. It's great to see you guys here. It's really cool. We really want to give back to you guys, and we're glad to have these live streams. Also, if you're in our Facebook group page, I put a recent link to a playlist that you can watch all these previous live streams that we've done. So you can start at the very beginning and work your way to today if you so desire. If you're just getting into DMR, got a lot of good content for you guys, and those are all chronicled in a playlist. So take advantage of that, but check our YouTube channel. And also, if you're not in a subscriber to our YouTube channel, I invite you to do that. I think we're over 20,000 subscribers now, which is really, really cool. It's really grown in the last month or so. We've added about 1,000 new subscribers. And also, we invite you to subscribe to our Facebook page, particularly the group page. A lot of good content in there from a lot of you guys contributing. I think we're well over 83, maybe 8,400 folks in that page. So thank you for spending your time with us this morning. Real quick, I want to do a bit of housekeeping. I want to make you guys aware, on February 14th, we're doing one of the best giveaways we've ever done. And Tanner, who's running the chats, put a link in the notes here, or in the chat box for this giveaway. It's called the Ultimate Ham Radio Giveaway. Somebody's going to be really blessed if they win this. It's an Anytone 578 tri-band mobile, an Anytone 878 Plus handheld, the Skybridge dual band hotspot like you see here, loaded. Both of them are loaded with the USA and International Super Code plugs. So they'll be plug and play programming for both radios. You'll get the BridgeCom University subscription for both radios. And this is what's even cooler, a Xiegu G90 HF transceiver. Okay, so we're not just doing digital radios. We've got the HF stuff covered here too, and then of course several accessories for the radios, and I'm not certain on that. Free shipping, total value of $2,529.88. So I want you guys to enter that if you so desire. And yes, we do give them away. And we have a list on our website of all the giveaways we've done and the winners, and you can check that out. So it's not just fairy dust. So okay, we're going to get started here with some good content today, and I want to speak to something that I see happening in the amateur radio community, particularly with these new digital modes, DMR, and there's a lot of there's a lot of people get frustrated, and I get that, and I want to encourage you guys to stay positive. This stuff can be learned. I've been challenged all my life to go for something. I mean, it's just part of who I am. I mean, if you guys get a hat from us or see anything, my motto is success is my duty. I want you to be successful as well. And our Facebook group page is built around that idea. We want that to be a place for you guys to go and get help, because I don't want you throwing your hands up. We've seen some comments from folks saying, I'm done with this, I can't do it, all this and that. I don't want that. I want you guys successful, and I want you to stay positive. And I want to read something here that a gentleman yesterday wrote named Thomas Hall, and this made my day. He states, "I want to thank I want to thank BridgeCom Systems and everyone on this page. I have been wanting to get into DMR for a couple years now. When I first heard about it, I thought there was no way I would ever mess with it. It sounded way too complicated for a hobby. I started reading some information on it on the internet, then came across BridgeCom's website and discovered the plug-and-play packages. Just took a while before I convinced myself to go ahead and make the purchase. After I started going through all the BridgeCom University videos and getting my radio, it all started to click and make sense. Hardest part was getting correct information for repeaters in the area, as there was conflicting information on the network, talk groups, etc. Then this whole Pi-Star thing was all new to me, but it has been fun to learn this new side of the hobby. So I just wanted to give a positive post on my experience with BridgeCom and this Facebook page. So, you know, if you guys are on this page, I mean, this guy's giving us a big thumbs up, and he really, you guys are contributing. So keep that in mind. Don't despair. You can learn this. So let's do it. Let's do it. I've got a neat topic on tap for you guys today that I stumbled across, you know, just in my travels. And I was thinking of this guy. You guys remember this movie that came out a while back called Catch Me If You Can? I think Tom Hanks played this guy that he was able to convince folks that he was something that he wasn't. And I think they interviewed him later. It's like, how were you able to fake all these different people? And I think what he did was he said, well, I think he was a professor or something in a college or something at one time. And he just stayed one chapter ahead of everybody else. That's what he said how he was able to fake it. Now, I'm not faking this, but I liken that to, you know, I would like to believe maybe I'm one chapter ahead. I don't know, but I'm actually on this journey with you guys, because I'm slowly seeing how deep the rabbit hole goes. And I stumbled onto this network called the QuadNet Array. Now this, if you guys got your show notes, I think Tanner put those in the link so you guys can check that out. And then I want to show you this thing called the QuadNet, okay? And we're going to talk about this because what this is going to allow is for you to be able to connect your DMR radio to other modes. Like if you might talk and hear about people, you know, with the Yaesu System Fusion or the D-Star, which is an extremely popular network that's out there. Well, you can actually use your DMR handheld and talk to those guys. And here you can go to this website. Whoops. You can go to website QuadNet Multimode Digital Amateur Radio Network. And I stumbled onto this because when you're in Pi-Star and you actually turn on your D-Star network, you're going to see that it defaults to the QuadNet as a distributed network system. Now, I'm not going to get into all the details of that because I still don't know how the sausage is made on that stuff, but I just know it works. But anyway, the QuadNet is a multi-mode digital amateur radio network dedicated to the advancement of digital voice networks, and its foundations lie in D-Star. Yeah, Dwayne says he uses the QuadNet. There's an astronomy net at 8 p.m. tonight. Okay, now I want to touch on that because if you go to this website, you're going to see that by having your DMR radio, you're going to be able to participate in these multi-mode nets. They have them every day almost. They've got this schedule, and there's a lot of activity going on, and this kind of opens it up. So as I was looking over this QuadNet, and I kind of got the idea that, okay, I understand it. It allows for me to link my DMR radio to this other mode, and then I started kind of just like, well, how can I, make this simple so somebody else understands it? And so, you can use this technique like what it's kind of like. And so I put this down. I said, to help my understanding, I've likened the QuadNet as a place where all the radio factions can get together and have a sit down. So all the users of the various modes can talk to one another. So, think of it as a sit down, and everybody's in the sandbox. This group's the D-Star folks, and these are the Yaesu System Fusion folks, and then you got the DMR guys over here, and it looks like the HF guys. Well, the QuadNet looks like it's a place where all these modes can kind of come together. And I know I'm probably just scratching the surface with QuadNet because I know they talk about it being its gift to the marketplace or the amateur radio community is routing your calls to various people so that you can, like if, for example, with your D-Star radio, you can call somebody specific by just knowing their call sign. Now, I'm not going to get into the specifics of that, but because I want to scratch the surface. But if you go and look at your notes, you're going to see this block diagram here, which is the key to what we're talking about today. And you're going to see a block diagram, and I'm going to be referencing this, okay? And what we're going to focus on as DMR folks is the talk group number, okay? And the talk group number for DMR, in this case, it's 31012. So they've made it easy to be able to do interoperability. Now that's a big buzzword that came out about 10 years ago, maybe even longer, where, you know, these certain groups of people couldn't talk to one another because they just weren't on, you know, they were on different bands. But this talk group number that we have access to with our DMR radio will allow for us to raise what are called reflectors of other modes, okay? So I'm going to demonstrate that today, where I'm going to program that talk group number into my 878. I'm going to get it set up to where I can talk on the local repeater that I have access to, as well as the hotspot. Now, I brought some friends in. I've got an FT70D. It does YSF. It does not do wires X, by the way. And I'm not even going to get into that because that's a big subject. And then I also brought a Kenwood D74, which does D-Star. I bought this a couple years ago because I was interested in 220 D-Star, which this radio does. Okay, so I've got these two radios that will talk through the SkyBridge or your hotspot running Pi-Star, an MMDVM host. So the diagram below is key because it tells me what I need to connect the various networks to set up the SkyBridge, as well as my radio, my DMR radio, so that I can demonstrate and also give you an opportunity to test this out for yourself. And also, my purpose is I want to expose you guys to this so that you guys can dabble in it as well, because this could be a start of a really cool journey for you. It's really cool. I'm just barely tapping the surface, or scratching the surface rather. Okay, so let's get started and get into the radio. Now again, I've got my DMR, my 878 HT, it's an 878 UV plus, okay, and I left it just like I did from the last live stream. If you recall, we set up the hotspot as well as the radio so that we could talk to two different networks by steering the radio. So we could talk on TGIF, and then we could talk on Brandmeister. And I left all of that the same. So what I want to do is I want to connect my radio. And by the way, we lost a camera this past week. A gentleman that needed it, he took vacation and it was his, and he's take it. So you're gonna have to just trust me on a lot of this. We're gonna set this up here. So forgive me for that. So anyway, I'm gonna go over here into the computer, and I am going to right click on the 121 CPS, and I want to click yes. I want to make changes. I right click and run it in administrator mode because it just seems like that makes Windows happy and also the CPS happy. Okay, so I want to just go up here and set my COM port. Okay, I'm on COM 3. That's been pretty consistent. And I want to go ahead and read the CPS. I'm sorry, read the profile out of the radio with the CPS. Okay. Cool, it's coming in. Okay, all right, now I've populated with the channels that I've had in here for a while. Now, referencing our show notes, I just read the CPS. Now I want to create a talk group for the QuadNet. Now, quickly, I'll go over here to the internet, and I want to go into Brandmeister Network, and I want to type in talk groups, because I want you to see where this talk group is. So I'm going to just look at this talk group list. And these are all the talk groups that are available. So I'm going to do a Control F for find, and I want to find the QuadNet. Okay, there, it just showed up. It's 31012. So we know this is a talk group that's available to us on Brandmeister. And this is the key. Looks like there's two of them. Okay, there's okay, QuadNet WX. I suspect that's weather, but I don't know. I've never gone to that one yet. Okay, so we see that talk group is good. Okay, so now what we want to do is our CPS is we want to add that talk group to our list right here. So I'm going to go over here and add that, and I'm going to call it QuadNet, because we don't have this yet. It is a group call, and we know that it's 31012. So, and I'm doing all this from scratch. This is going to, if you guys are just joining in the series, what I'm showing you is what you have to do to build your own code plug as well. So I'm basically, using all the things that we've learned thus far, and I'm doing it again right here. And I'm building up these talk groups. I'm going to create channels. I'm going to add them to zones, and then I'm going to write it to the radio, and I'm going to test. Okay, so I've got this talk group I've created. Okay, it's called QuadNet, and that's what they told me here by this block diagram. All right. So now I've added the talk group. Now I want to create a channel for the local repeater. So I'm going to go up here to the channels. Okay. Now I know my local repeater, and we've gone through this. The local repeater is 444.4625, and I'm going to copy one of those listings, and I'm just going to come down here to slot 24, and I'm going to paste that. Now I want to edit that, so I'm going to left double click on there, and I am going to change the alpha tag to KCI QuadNet. Okay. Color code 4, time slot 1. That's what the system operator, the repeater, wants us to use. So I got this contact selection I just pulled up here, and I'm going to left click once, and it's going to allow for me to see that is 31012. So I'm going to click that and add it. Okay. So now I've got that as a channel. So number 4, add the channel to a local repeater zone. So I'm going to go over here to the zone. I've created these zones before, and I've got this KCI zone. That's what I'm calling my local repeater. It's located at maybe 5, 6, 7 miles north of me. Okay, and I know that if I stand over here at this window, I can hit that. That took me a while to figure out. And keep in mind, if you're not able to get into your repeater, if you're locally, you just change locations in your house or your dwelling. Go outside, try it there before you give up. Because I sat here like, why can't I get in a repeater? I thought it was the lights in the room, and all it took for me to do was just go stand next to the window. So it's just something in this building, the structure. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and add this QuadNet to the zone. Okay, and you got to add your channels to a zone, or you will never see them when you write to the radio. You'll sit there and wonder where did it go, but you have to write them to the zone. And if you guys have been attending these live streams, I'm going to repeat myself a lot because there's new folks coming in, but it's often good to be reminded of the things you need to do. So now we need to create another channel for the hotspot, and I am we're on 446.525 here. Okay, so I've got this. I'll just take this one here, this Brandmeister, Ohio, and I'm going to copy that, and I'm going to paste it right here. Now this is my hotspot, and I'm going to call it HS for hotspot QuadNet. That's how I know what I'm doing here. It's always good to have good alpha tags. We know it's color code 1, slot 2. That's just what this hotspot's set up for. Typically most hotspots, they're a simplex device. They usually use slot 2 for transmission, and DMR's dual time slot. So I'm going to change the contact to QuadNet. Okay. And we need low power. We're just sitting here right in front of it. So I'll test that as well. So I created the channel for the SkyBridge hotspot. Now I want to add the channel to the hotspot zone. So I'm going to go over here to the zones, and I'm going to go to the Brandmeister hotspot zone, and I'm going to add HS QuadNet to this zone so I can see it. And now I think I'm good enough to write this to the radio. So we're there. All right, so I'm going to write this to the radio. Program, write to radio. PC write. Write complete. Okay. All right. So in order, it says it's writing to it. Don't turn it off. Booting. Please wait. You guys have seen this. Okay. Got my title front. Okay. All right. So I've got, I don't know if you can see this, but anyway, I've got my KCI zone, which is the one I'm at, okay, and I'm on, the first one that come up is the Papa system, Florida, Ohio, Ohio TAC, Northeast QuadNet, okay, disconnect, and the parrot. All right, so if you'll follow me, Joe, I'm going to go over here to the window and I'm going to hit the parrot, okay, and just a KC0QVT. I see it come back, but I don't hear it. Let's try KC0QVT.
KC0QVT.
Okay. For some reason, you got to wake it up. I don't know what's going on there. I've often wondered about that. Maybe some of you guys know what's going on, but the first transmission, I did see it came back to me, but it didn't unmute. And then I tried it again, and it came back, and it unmuted. So anyway, I'm hitting the repeater, which is good. Okay, so now what I want to do is, and by the way, that is a private call. Okay, so what I want to do is I want to quickly jump, before I get started in demonstrating this, I want to bring our friends into the room because we want to set up the SkyBridge. So I now know that I'm connected to the repeater. I can talk to the repeater. So let's go out to the web, and we're going to go to our Pi-Star login, and I am on 192.168.1.71, and I know that from the screen and how it set it up, okay? So I'm going to 192.168.1.71. Looks like it's been here before. Okay, so this is my dashboard. All right, so what we're going to do, I logged into the SkyBridge configuration page, and now I want to turn on some of these other modes. Now this is something we've never done before, so we're going to try this. Okay, so I got to log in. It's pi-star, and the password, I've never changed it. It's raspberry. Okay, and I don't want to save it because I don't know if that's where I'm always going to be. All right, so all this stuff is the same as when we visited with each other last live stream. Okay, we've got the same setup page, and the DMR configuration's all good. We should still be routing calls from TGIF and Brandmeister, and I can show you that real quick by going to the dashboard, and you can see down here it says Brandmeister and TGIF are still DMR masters. Okay, so back into the configuration page, I said, okay, I want to turn on YSF mode. We're going to check that out first. Okay, so I'm going to apply these changes, and that's going to open up another configuration portion of this Pi-Star page so that we can then assign the reflector for YSF. Okay, it's rebooting, restarting the services. Okay, now notice here, System Fusion configuration. Okay, YSF startup host. Okay, now we want to change this to reflector XLX307. Okay. Okay, just real quick, let me take, what is a reflector? A reflector is basically like a server almost that we might know in DMR. Okay, so we want to connect the SkyBridge to effectively another server for YSF. They call them reflectors. So here you have a whole lot of reflectors. Okay, rooms. They call them rooms too, but that's another rabbit hole to go down. So I'm going to look for XLS. I think it's way the heck down here. I mean, they've got a whole bunch of stuff in here. Okay. I know it was, let's see. Yeah. XLX307. If I can find it again, let's see. There it is here at YS. Okay, so we want to go to, let me go up to 307. There it is right there. Okay, so I want to go ahead, because that's what QuadNet says. QuadNet tells me if I connect XLX307, or they call it reflector 35947, which is right here, that I should be good to go. All right. So I'm going to apply these changes. And now we're going to do a test. Okay. Once this restarts. Okay, and just by way of just haste, I've got my FT70D. It's set up for digital mode, and it is programmed to the frequencies of the hotspot in simplex mode. Okay, so it should be listening and monitoring what's going on with the hotspot. So what I need to do now is I need to put the radio on the QuadNet. This is the talk group that we just did. Okay, now the repeater is running just regular Brandmeister, and it's not statically connected to this talk group. It's kind of just sitting there listening for somebody to tell it what to do. Well, that's what I'm getting ready to do. I'm going to handshake with the local repeater on time slot 1, and let me make sure I'm saying that right. Go to the channel information. Okay, KCI QuadNet. Yeah, time slot 1, color code 4. So I'm going to walk over to the window, and I believe if everything works out right, I should hear myself come out on this this radio here, and there'll be a delay. Okay, so let's just go ahead and try that. KC0QVT. Okay, it did something. Let me see if it has to like wake it up. Let me try it one more time. KC0QVT. Okay, I'll bring this over here so you can hear that. KC0QVT. KC0. Okay, I think you get the picture. Okay, somebody's trying to, looks like somebody made effort to contact me. KC0QVT monitoring QuadNet. Okay. All right, what we...
KD8 DLT, you're coming in loud and clear.
Okay, I just heard this gentleman come KD8 DLT. I think he's on the show. Anyway, that call sign looks familiar. Anyway, the SkyBridge is raising up the the Fusion radio, but I'm talking to him on DMR. So KD8DLT, this is KC0QVT. Yeah, we're going to have a yeah, it'll start feeding back and create a mess. But anyway, here, let's see. Okay. Yeah, it's going to be, I got to be over here, I think. Yeah. Yeah, I don't want to get all confused. My point is that the Fusion radio, and I'll go ahead and talk to him back on the Fusion radio. Hey, this is Ron, KC0QVT. How you doing?
I'm doing good. Home from work today, staying warm, and watching the show.
Thank you. That's good. Okay, cool. All right. So, just by way of review, going through the hotspot with the Fusion, this radio is talking to the repeater. So we've made this exchange. So in keeping with what they're about, it is interoperable. So now let's bring this other guy into the world. This this Kenwood D74 running D-Star. Now, I want to make a quick comment. This radio has been extremely challenging to me. You guys think that these 878s are scrambling your brains. I tell you, this radio will really scramble your brain. But with time, you guys, and like I've been getting it, I've been slowly getting my mind wrapped around D-Star, and I think I've got it to the point where I can tell this radio, I can actually steer this hotspot doing D-Star. I can set it to where it goes to the various reflectors that like you can do with DMR, but it's been a challenge for me because I don't know, it's not intuitive, or at least it's not intuitive to me. So what we want to do is we want to go back to the configuration page, and we want to turn off YSF. Just, we don't want them all on right now. I mean, it'll create a, I don't want to confuse everybody. We want to turn off YSF, and now we're going to turn on D-Star. Okay, so I'm going to apply that, and that's going to allow for me to enter in some additional information for my my D-Star radio. So it's rebooting.
Bluetooth REF721 Bravo.
Okay, so there's some previous information you're going to see down here. Okay, the default reflector is coming up as 721 Bravo. Now, when you first start your D-Star, this is where you want to put your call sign. Since I'm on UHF, I want to use this as a designator of B. And then you have this next repeater one call sign of G. And Dwayne S., I'm just reading your comment, D-Star looks confusing to me. I hear you, man. I've I've been challenged, but it's been around for a while, and I've often wondered, you know, are we hams just, you know, do we try to just make things as complicated as possible? But I mean, I guess it just depends on where you come to the table. I mean, to me, it's had a heck of a lot. It's a longer learning curve for me than DMR was. Yeah, once you Mr. Sparks 54, D-Star does have a learning curve, but once you dabble in it a bit, it's not too bad. I would agree, and then you know that's what we're good at with hams. Let me take a quick detour here. You know, I've often wondered, you know, if there's like this unspoken rite of passage that we hams have to go through. It's like, you know, we just gotta, you know, you're not a real ham unless you're suffering. But I don't know. I reject that. I think we're all here to help each other and make this easy because it is fun. But there's a lot of guys, I call them these self-anointed gatekeepers, that they want to make sure you're suffering. And you know, you got to figure it out on your own and just plow through it. Yeah, we're suffering, but you know, we can learn it together, and that's why we do these live streams. And Just, I've always wondered about that. You know, we got to make it easy, because when it's easy, it's fun. Okay, so let's back to this. The D-Star configuration, we've got this password. I don't know what that is. It doesn't seem to make a difference to me, but we want this default reflector, okay? It looks like when the SkyBridge came out of boot, it immediately connected to that reflector. Okay, but we want to change it to XRF 735A. Now that's just a fancy way of saying this is the QuadNet. So we can go down here and change that. Actually, you know what? Better than that, I'm going to show you, or I'm going to connect to it using this radio, because you can steer this radio. So I'm going to go over here to the dashboard, and I want to point out something down here that's of interest. There's when you turn on D-Star, you're going to see this information over on the left called D-Star Repeater, and then D-Star Network. Now this IRC, I've always wondered what that meant. It always said openquad.net. Now I think when you immediately go to D-Star, they default this setup to this OpenQuad. So this thing's always kind of been working in the background, and I just never knew it. But this apparently is where they've been, a lot of this magic, if you will, happens on this OpenQuad. Okay, so now I know that I'm connected to this reflector 721B, and I'm going to use my radio and I'm going to steer it to this new reflector called XRF 735A. So I'm going to go to, and I know you guys can't see this, but I'm going to do a real quick echo test. KC0QVT, and just see if it comes back with the hotspot.
KC0QVT.
Okay, so I hit the hotspot and did an echo test, just like what you guys do with the parrot, or we do with the parrot on DMR to the repeater. So now I want to change the reflector. I want to unlink this reflector, KC0QVT. Should say not linked.
Not linked.
Okay. Now I want to link it. Whoops. I want to link it to XRF 735A. Okay, it looks like I'm going to have to change that. Just real quick. 735A, okay. Okay, so let me see if I can link this and watch it on the screen here. It should tell me if I'm linked.
Link to XRF 735 Alpha.
Okay, so now this is here, and I'm going to go over here and talk on the QuadNet, and I should hear my voice come out on this D-Star radio. KC0QVT, and it does. So it works. So now I'm doing DMR to D-Star.
DLT sounding good, Ron. Still looking good.
Okay. That was Dave Nudie. Yeah, KD8DLT. He's coming in on DMR, and he raised the D-Star radio. Now, let's see if I can talk on the SkyBridge back to him. Hey Dave, this is Ron, KC0QVT. Do you copy? See, okay, I'm going to bring this to you guys here, that I noticed that I can go from DMR into the D-Star, but I was experimenting with this, and I was trying to talk on this reflector back to D-Star. I couldn't get my voice to come out on DMR. KC0QVT, hey Dave. Okay, so it comes out on D-Star, but it doesn't go back to DMR.
Still working.
Okay. So he just came out on D-Star as well. So if anybody knows why that's not working bi-directional, that'd be great, because I was messing with that. Only on D-Star did I see that problem, especially with that. And I tried all those different reflectors. So anybody want to comment below as they if they know that? But I know it goes both ways with YSF. So I'm going to go over here one more time and just KD8DLT, this is Ron. Hey, Dave, thanks for the comeback. I'll catch you later, my friend. I don't know if you heard me. Anyway. KD8DLT, this is Casey. The woes of having radios listening. Yeah. Yeah, KD8DLT, this is KC0QVT. Hey, Dave, thanks for the comeback. I'll catch you later, my friend, but thanks for chiming in. Must have lost him. Okay. Well, anyway, big sandbox, guys. This QuadNet. If your characters are blurry, sounds like a hardware issue. I don't know what he's talking about. Oh, TYT MD 2017. Oh, okay. He's talking about something else. Okay. Well, listen, I'm open for questions. I just wanted to show you this so that you guys can go to the QuadNet, check these guys out, look at the nets they're having. You've got the DMR radio. You can go to talk group, set up talk group 31012. You can join, like the gentleman said earlier, you can go to the astronomy net. In fact, let's just go to it real quick. And we can, there's a bunch of getting started. Yeah, on Sunday they have an amateur radio RVer net. Looks pretty cool. D-Star repeater multimode net. Young operators digital voice net. Ham radio rookies net. I think I'm a rookie when it comes to D-Star. Got Hotspot, Raspberry Pi. I actually caught a late net on Monday night, and there were about 36 people checked in. So, it's pretty active. You got the astronomy net tonight, Ham Nation after show. Okay, you guys may know who those folks are. Ham Nation, they've got a web, I think they got a YouTube channel. Friday, a train net. Saturday, Medical Amateur Radio Council, a multimode digital voice net, a food net. It's got, with your DMR radio, there's always something going on. So it's pretty cool what we have available to us, especially with these hotspots. The bands are never down and the repeaters are always busy because you've got a repeater effectively in your pocket now. And it's a whole new world. And again, like the gentleman said in the text I read, that don't get discouraged. He was intimidated at first. I've been intimidated. D-Star intimidates me to an extent. But you know what? I'm going to figure it out because that's just what I'm going to do. And I want you guys to figure it out as well. And this Facebook group page is available to you guys to throw questions out there, get some support if you need it. We're here for you. We added 2 more techs a week and a half ago. They're just getting up to speed. We're getting the calls handled. And, don't despair. But if anybody has any questions, I'll see if I can field them. But the topic was QuadNet and how you can go DMR to YSF or DMR to D-Star. And then, of course, they've got, as you can see here, you can go even DMR to HF. Which, yep.
A while back, Ed, AD4GA,
yep.
said, it took me 2 nights to rack my brain, but once I make contacts, the world has opened up.
Yeah, Ed, you're getting it done, man. Thank you for that. he put in the time, and you know, we'd love to Elmer everybody, but I mean, obviously that's not possible. I mean, so if you do, you know, place a call into our offices, we try to get to you, definitely. There's no like neglecting you on purpose. It's just that we've had a high volume of calls. We're getting in front of them. But I'm active on the Facebook group. We've got the YouTube channels. You guys can go back and watch some previous live streams. But ham radio is pretty cool. You can do a lot of neat things. And it's trickled into, you know, there's like this cross-pollination thing that's going on between commercial and amateur. You know, the DMR came from the commercial world into amateur, and then, you know, you got a lot of this networking stuff that is taking place that, you know, has gone both ways. A lot of famous people are hams that have built some really cool businesses. So it's, I kind of wish I got in an amateur radio when I was at the university. There was an amateur radio club, and I was doing electrical engineering, but I never went to it. And I probably would have learned a lot more. So anyway, it doesn't matter where you start, as long as you're getting in the game.
Billy Mink earlier said,
"Yep,
I want to use DMR, but I'm stumped." Do you have any advice for him?
Yeah, if you're stumped, I want to encourage you to well, you know, to download our 3-step guide. Okay, this 3-step guide basically takes this. This is what you got to do. You got to go get, first of all, hopefully you're an amateur radio operator. Then you need to go to radioid.net and get you a repeater or a DMR ID. That's the second step. The next step is get the best radio you can afford. Okay, now we promote the 878, the 868. We got a lot of support behind it. You get the BridgeCom University subscription when you do that, but there's a lot of support for that. And then you need to find either a local repeater, and I show you that in our first video of the live stream series, or you want to get a hotspot. Now, a lot of guys bypass the repeater altogether and just get a hotspot because it hastens the learning curve, because you're not worrying about a system operator with a repeater or wondering if a repeater is even available. So that's the 3 steps you want to take. And then, of course, you want to join a group like ours on our Facebook group page or any of these other group pages. There's another large 878, 578, 868 group page on Facebook. There's a pretty large community to get involved in, and just, you know, search on the internet. I'll give you a real quick tip that has helped me immensely whenever I don't know anything. As far as this technology goes, I go to my favorite search engine, okay, and I type in what is whatever it is. Like in this case, there's a thing called this kind of stuff just confuses the heck out of me, but there's a thing called IRC DDB. I don't even know. It's a D-Star thing, and I'm all that stuff kind of scrambles my mind. So I'll go and type in what is that, and then all this stuff comes up on your screen, and you can just start this learning trail of all this various things. So keep that in mind. If you're stumped, type in what is DMR, what is D-Star, you know, what is anything that you can think of. But it'll take some, you know, your habit has to come, you have to think about that. Create a habit, like asking yourself, you know, versus saying, well, I don't know and nobody will help me. Okay, well, Google or DuckDuckGo or Bing, they've got these search engines on your computer, and the world's at your fingertips. So, let's see. All right. Well, do you need a number? You don't need a number for D-Star. You just need an amateur radio call sign for D-Star. That's the cool thing about QuadNet is it takes all that away. You just need an amateur radio call sign for D-Star.
Are there any POC radios in the works?
There's a lot of these vendors making POC radios. That stands for, POC stands for push to talk over cellular. Okay, and these are radios that are, you know, you put a SIM card in them like your phone. And if you guys may remember Nextel from back in the day, where the chirp. Well, the POC is effectively a radio that talks on the cellular network. BridgeCom's not building any. We know of people that are making them. We do have some interest in that, but just not yet. Okay, Dwayne says you still have to register for D-Star. Okay, I don't know if that's true or not. I went into this QuadNet, and one of the things that they talk about, it says right here, QuadNet started as an open IRC DDB routing network that doesn't require registration. We contend that valid amateur radio licenses is enough to operate on the QuadNet IRC network. We do not require a special club or repeater call sign for use on the network. So this version of D-Star doesn't require you to register. But I know what you're saying. I do remember early days D-Star. And I might be just speaking totally out of turn here. I don't know. This is all new to me as well. But more importantly, I wanted to demonstrate, because I know we focus a lot on DMR, but I want you guys to be aware that you can talk to these other modes. Okay? You know, this should open up a whole new world for y'all. And that you can, you know, when you go to these nets, you might be talking to a guy that's using a Fusion radio or a D-Star radio, and you just don't know. But the cool thing is that they've made a way for everybody to talk in the same sandbox. So, okay. Well, I think that wraps it up today. I hope you guys learned something, and I'm glad you guys attended. Thank you for spending an hour with us here at BridgeCom. We're really glad you're here. The video will be made available on our YouTube channel, so we invite you to subscribe and be made aware of more of these videos as we put them out. And we just encourage you to keep learning, stay positive. Success is your duty. You know, you're a ham radio person. You got the test taken care of. You got your license. You're ready to go. Now let's just dive in and have a great week. 7-3.